Good day, good morning. It's Friday, 10th of November 2017. Welcome to our daily, real-time daily trading ideas. We have 5 days a week, 5 different traders. Today it's Friday, so Dirk will be the day trader of today. We will speak about trading ideas, strategies, market screening, and maybe 1 or 2 of your questions directly answered in our quick and smart webinar. Our goal is 15 to 20 minutes, so let's make a start. Welcome, have a nice webinar altogether. Of course, like any webinar from Admiral Markets, will start also with a risk disclaimer. Forex and CFDs are leveraged products and can result in losses that exceed your deposits. If you like to start Forex and CFD trading, please start with a demo account and make you familiar with the risk management, how to do a trade, and more stuff about that. That's best what you can do via a demo account. If you like to read the full risk disclaimer, just visit one of our web pages like admiralmarketsglobal.com or admiralmarkets.com and you will see the full risk disclaimer displayed there. This is me. My name is Jens. My English, made in Germany. I'm speaking from the Berlin office of Admiral Markets, but I'm not the main speaker. The main speaker is Dirk. In a couple of seconds, he will take part of the webinar and will screen with you the market. That is our scheme. On Monday, it's Jay's day. On Tuesday, it's Paul's day. On Wednesday, it's Mike's day. On Thursday, it's Leonard's day. And on Friday, it's Dirk's day. 5 days a week, 5 different traders. If your time allows it, just visit all days, almost every day, and you will learn a lot from different trading styles and how to screen the market. Today's actions are tomorrow results, our leading day traders live. And of course, if you like to trade Forex and CFDs, we would be really happy if you do it with Admiral Markets. Many benefits what you only get with us. For example, best order execution, STP. We have no minimum stop distances. You can trade with our MT4 or also MT5. The MT5 has some benefits. For example, Forex level 2 market depths. Negative balance protection policy is available, our safeguard for negative balances with Admiral Markets UK, and all details you will find also, of course, at admiralmarkets.com. Also, you will find something about our regulatory background. Admiral Markets UK Ltd is, of course, regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. And if you like to speak with us, call us or send us an email. Or if you like to see our webinars recorded a couple of hours later, you will find it at our youtube.com/admiralmarkets channel. And of course, Facebook is also available. The address you will see here. Or just visit admiralmarkets.com. Everything is linked from our web pages. So enough from my side. Now it's time for Dirk. Hi, good morning, good day, Dirk. What is your trading idea of today? Let's have a nice start.
Yes, good morning, Jens, and good morning to you crowd out there. And thanks for having me on. So we will start with a short view on the German DAX, of course. Right now, we are hovering around this 13,140 mark. We will be working out some Fibonacci resistance in the next minutes, and we will have a look at the next possible setups for a long entry and, of course, as well for a short entry. So let's close that window here and just give it a little bit more room. Speaking about the last DAX trade, last DAX setup, we had a DAX short setup in the terminal. The stop loss scenario was 13,525.50. And it's quite funny. On Monday there has been a new record high for the German DAX, and the record high was 13,525.56. So that's kind of funny, because those who are not earning the pips to the downside already, they got stopped out with the absolutely minimum of 0.6 DAX points. So that's misery on the one side, but that's every day. That's traders' life. All right, so let's check out the last highs and the last lows. So for example, we will be watching the dailies at the 90s of the October. You got a low at 12,909.43 up to the record high. That's where we put the Fibonacci levels. That's where we have a look at the next retracements. And just to widen that picture right now, you got the next possible reaction lines. I will call them reaction lines. This is 61.8 Fibonacci retracements, for example. And on top of that, to the downside, you got those 12,909ers. And the next one would be the projection at 138.2, and on top the 161.8. So just drawing those fib lines just to mark them, just to show them. That doesn't mean that we are going to fall down there, for example, or going down to 12.5, 27. It doesn't mean that we are have a rush down there. The only thing is it's just marking your possibilities where you have your possible targets for the short side. And as well to the upside, for example, watching the Fibonacci's like the 50 fib, the 38.2 fib, or the 23.6 fib, where there are some reactions to the upside as well. If there's a so-called relief rally or relief move, we could be heading up to this 50 or 38.2% Fibonacci. So that means if you're thinking about a next short setup, you better be watching and waiting until the DAX is maybe taking a little bit of relief to the upside again. So that might be something like the 13,220s up to the 13,297. So it might be quite useful to place a short between those two lines. That could mean you could place it between 13,240 or 13,250. If you just take a look at this order ladder, so you got some possibilities to place the order ladder. For example, taking a sell limit at 13,250, as I said, for example, or 64, like this one. You might only place it to the downside right here. And for example, you can see the take profit scenario is already being calculated. So if you have a take profit scenario right at the stop loss, right at the support 1 level, it should be something like 415 euros of a profit. So, of course, that's a lot. That's a nice amount, just very close to the weekend would be perfect, right? So we got to place that one here. And of course, don't forget to place the so-called stop loss scenario. And the stop loss scenario will be calculated, or will be maybe quite perfect around those 38.2 Fibonacci retracement right here. For example, you got 76, or maybe you might be risking even a little bit more, just to give it a little bit more room to the upside. For example, approximately 100 euros. All right, so this one is placed. As well, you can see lines like the sell limit line, the take profit line, and the stop loss line. And if you like to, it shouldn't be this way, but if you like to, you can move them by just putting your mouse on the certain line and just to move them up and down. In case of, you might be widening your take profit, or you might be shortening your take profit. Just to have the possibilities doesn't mean that you have to or you should to. Okay. What was going on at Thursday? So the DAX dropped almost 200 points. I would say that way. Let's explain it that way. Watch out for movements at the US markets, because the US market is always guiding the German DAX. So if we got a US market falling apart, maybe from 100 to 150 points to 200 points to the downside, the DAX might be heading down as well. So watch out for the next session, US session, starting at 15:30 CET right now, and of course watch the current policies about the US tax reform. So that is the point, because yesterday's talk and rumors cruising around and running over our tickers. We got the information that the Washington Post said something about that the so-called US tax reform and corporate tax reform might be moved, a little bit more moved to 2018 or even 2019. So this was a so-called shock to the market, and something like, yeah, a reason to sell and a reason to get over this very, very much overbought in the indices. Okay. We got the next setup, of course. We're watching gold. Last Friday, we have been talking about gold. And that's where we definitely entered. So we entered this one at the 1,268 level. Bought a long scenario here with only a mini lot. And we just moved the stop loss, of course, above the entry right now, because you have to calculate the swap. So every day you be holding that position, you will have a negative swap effect. So you gotta think about moving the stop loss a little bit to the upside as well from day to day, because you might be aware that you will be losing a swap every day. So that is important for this kind of position. But in fact, right now we are approximately at 100, 120 euros in the positive territory. So you might be closing that one before the end of the weekend, or you just leave it that way and for example, speculating, thinking about geopolitical tensions running in Saudi Arabia with Iran, or whatever the fact is going on with North Korea in the next month, whatever. You might be holding it as well because you think stock markets might be going to the downside more, and this might be something like an advantage for gold. There are a lot of reasons maybe to stick to gold right now. So that's something like a really personal attitude. Right now it's quite comfortable. The position is already in the positive territory, so we'll be only doing so-called managing the position, like moving the so-called stop loss lines more to the upside from day to day, or maybe taking out a half or whatever, or just taking off the position at the end of the day. So there are a lot of possibilities to manage that one. Okay, so another market is the Euro GBP. Euro GBP is hovering around the 61.8 level, so I will be marking that one as well here. Watch out for this one. There you go. That's the 0.8850-55 level, and this might be quite interesting. The position I, for example, was talking about the last sessions, and for example in guidance, maybe some of you guys know guidance. That's a platform where I simply presented a trade scenario just around the time of the Bank of England session, the last hiking session. So this is a stop loss scenario of 0.8960. So this is my stop loss. And the take profit scenario is way down at 0.8620s, 30s, for example. You might be lowering this as well, just from the point of view, because you think that there might be some more clear facts in the next weeks to come. One of the things today, for example, they already told us that the Brexit date will be absolutely fixed now, and the Brexit date is, if I'm not totally wrong, it's the 29th of March. And on top of that, right now, maybe Germany right now knows that they have to pay even more to Brussels, because when the Brits are leaving, a little bit of more cash is running to Brussels from Berlin. So that might be a disadvantage for us, of course. So we are talking about approximately 3.8 to 4 billion euros. So it's a little bit more. It's a little bit more money. Okay. So the thing about the position, for example, we are going to analyze it from the longer perspective. Because we go down to the projection levels, and this is something like the 138.2, where we been talking about this 0.8630s level. So this is the reason why I put this target. So targets, they are nothing like a miracle. There's no guy out there with a glass ball showing you where to go. So this is all technicals, all technical stuff. So 86.30s up down to the 85.60s level might be something like a target where you could be looking at. Of course, the other side as well, if something is really going wrong the next days, and for example some economical data from Great Britain is really bad, so there might be the case that the euro pound scenario will be going up again and checking the 0.90 level again. So that might be the case. In this case, the stop loss is for this kind of case, the stop loss scenario is placed, and you might be losing 1% of your trading account, for example, or 0.5% of your trading account. You should be aware of all those risk and money management rules. So if you don't know anything about them, just try to just try to calculate your risk. Just have a look at your own account size, for example, 10K or 5K, whatever the fact it is, and calculate the risk, and so that it fits, absolutely fits, that your position and lot size fits to your account. So that's important. Okay. Going to one position as well. Before we start another one, we got the New Zealand dollar. The New Zealand dollar was the US dollar, so this position is already taken out, has been taken out at the 69.50s. You may let them in if you're still in and still on the long side. It's quite interesting that there hasn't been too much volatility, besides the fact that we had the Reserve Bank of New Zealand been talking this week on Wednesday. So there has been a lot of rumors before that, and right now we know somehow that the interest rates might not be going to up to the roof into the next 12 to 18 months. So this is a fact. And they should be pricing it in the next couple of days and couple of weeks, and they might be sure that the New Zealand dollar versus the US dollar still be running in the next 12 to 18 months, or let's say in the next 12 months, in a so-called window between 0.65 and 0.80. It's a very, very big window. I know it's a very big room of pips, of course. But that is the fact right now, because we don't know which kind of effects this debt, so-called US debt talks in December and the rate hike in December from the US will be affecting this kind of pair. So this is something we always should know. Everything we are talking about, a current analysis, a daily analysis, it doesn't mean that this analysis is absolutely a 100% fact in the next days or weeks to come. So you've got to be working on it every day, every single hour, again and again. All right, one thing which is kind of interesting right now, let's check the market watch again and check a currency pair which you may be not trading every day, and there's the so-called US dollar versus the ruble. So I might be opening this window just to have that one as well with the navigator and mini terminal. By the way, if you're not using all this kind of tools, just ask Jens and his colleagues in Berlin, or just do it via the chat online, how you could implement the mini terminals and the new software, Supreme tools, for example, and for example, stuff like the so-called Admiral magnifiers, mini charts, order histories, pivots, like I just click on here as well to just use the pivots. The daily pivots are showing you resistances and supports, and this might be kind of useful for your for you finding new targets besides the techniques of Fibonacci levels. All right, so we are checking the daily, and besides that, we are checking the last high and the last low, and inserting the Fibonacci levels here from the last high to the last low. And the so-called target for a new long setup could be the neckline of this 100 fib, and just be watching, for example, like the 138.2. Just marking that one just in case of that is might be interesting or getting interesting in the next weeks to come. So this might be a long scenario. For example, you can do it the old-fashioned way. You can be doing it using, for example, the order ladder, like we did with the DAX, for example, or other positions. You might be using the mini terminal here as well. You might be checking your lot size, for example, open a mini lot, for example, and opening it always with the same stop loss amount, for example, 50 pips or whatever. Or you might be doing this the very old-fashioned way, like, for example, Jens told me the last time. You might be just double-click that one, and you got the old-fashioned order window. So we might be doing everything. For example, checking the volumes again, checking that one with a 010, for example, and just having a market execution right now. With a stop loss, for example, to the downside at the 50% level. The 50% Fibonacci level is here around 58.95. So that one is the 58.95, for example. This is not forcing you to have execution like that. It's just only a so-called example how you could do it. And of course, you can take the take profit scenario here as well. For example, checking this one, the next fib level to the upside, as I already told you with the 100 fib. That's the 60.98. So this one got marked as well. And market execution, all you need to be doing is right now just click, and the order is placed. So on top of that, you got the same. So you did the order the old-fashioned way, but you get the same information. You got a stop loss level, you got the buy, and you got the take profit level. For example, here to the upside, the horizontal line, will be showing that this, for example, is a profit of 250 euros if the US dollar versus the ruble is heading up to 60.98. So you get all this information as well. Okay, guys, this morning in the German version here at 10 o'clock CT, I spoke about the Brent, about the oil price. We did something like a short scenario because we are expecting that Brent a little bit of relief to the downside because it is very well overbought just because of geopolitical tensions between Saudi Arabia and Iran. So that's just for you, just as information that there might be some kind of interesting setup, just to show it maybe with the chart, only to show the markers. Where's the Brent chart? Okay, and there you go. And you might be adding to this stop loss here. So the stop loss scenario, from this one here is, let's just wait a second. This is the 64.95 sell limit, and it is stopped with a 65.45 stop loss, and a take profit scenario with a 61.9895ers. All right. So this is the only thing I wanted to show you, because all we have to obey is time, because it's 11:23 again. And I think, Jens, maybe you got some questions as well?
Yeah, but the time is our limit. So today we are finished, but Monday, not Saturday tomorrow, but Monday is another day, because Saturday and Sunday, as you know, the stock markets are closed. So the next webinar will be on Monday at Jay's Day. Hope to see you also there. Thank you for today. Have a good Friday. Have a good weekend already. And if you'd like to see it again, a couple of hours later, it will be available on our YouTube channel. Thanks, Dirk. And if you have German audience next week, not coming weekend, but next week, join us. Admiral Markets is on the Retail Trader Expo World of Trading in Frankfurt. So I guess we will get audience from Germany, Austria, Swiss, maybe also from Netherlands. Anybody who likes to come to the biggest and most important expo, Admiral Markets will be there. Not coming, but the weekend above. World of Trading. See you there. Greetings. Bye-bye from Berlin.
Yeah, and all I have to say is hopefully you will be having a perfect weekend. When I look out of the window, it's really making you sad. It's gray. It's raining. So you might be having something like sunshine and 25 to 30 degrees. Hopefully you're having a weekend in Spain or even living there. Wishing you a relaxing weekend, and hopefully see you next Friday, same time, 11 CT right here. Thanks. Bye.